Fucking shit.
That got never weapon.
Where are you there?
No weapon.
Don't you want shot? Don't you want shot? Don't you want shot? Hold on. Give me that. Give me that. Where fucking go again? Don't you fucking go again? I don't want to go again.
Hey, Baba, you see who's still my face? I'm a fucking money get a fair area. You see put on my face? I'm a fucking money get a area. Oh, a fuck player. I'm fucking money get a area. Listen, check it, man. Check it. Are you a fan, baby? Are you a fucking fan, baby? Okay, listen, gentlemen. Let's just shut up at you. What the fuck you causing up for? Well, I need some money from y'all. You, we need some money. You sure no money? You guys need to participate in the war.
No money, my brother. I'm getting nothing.
I can eat a lawyer, no problem.
It's only in Cinderella world where you just wave the wand and then everything, becomes normal. We are listening to the people. We're going to look at the report. We're going to examine the report. We're going to look at the legal implication. And we're going to advise the president on what direction we should move in.
By the time the report is released, more than 30 named hold government positions.
Now we have a full-blown greenhouse of people who perpetrated evil in government, in parliament, and there is no justice for people who are crying for justice.
Among the accused warlords in office, Prince Johnson.
I just think the TRC is a trash, complete trash. There is no TRC here. It's all scrap. I just told you, it's a blunder. It's a piece of paper that was prepared by a group of people already who had made up their mind to incriminate people, cook up lies, cook up charges that cannot be verified.
So what do you think of the testimony of thousands of survivors that came forward?
I did not see any survivor.
And what do you make of the verbal statements of people?
No, nobody came out. No.
There were people that were videotaped.
Whoever was videotaped in my absence, I don't know who was videotaped. Whatever statement was given in my absence, incriminating me under the law, I must face those people in the court or at the TRC. That was not done.
So would you be willing then to be tried in court?
Well, you can't.
The TRC is not saying you are guilty of this. They're saying that they have reason to believe that there's enough evidence to try you for gross crimes against humanity.
Let me say this to you.
Would you go
a
to
few people, a group of people, cannot just sit behind a scene and cook up charges.
What about child soldiers? They weren't using.
I did not have a child soldier. First thing, I had heavy machine guns, and the small boy could not shoot.
Okay, what about the allegations of torture and rape?
I was dealing drastically, militarily with my soldiers who even attempted to rape me.
So what do you think should happen? Because the whole country is waiting for some action to be taken on those recommendations, whatever it might be, Palava House, so the recommendations to help the survivors.
Well, I tell you.
But it's in your hands.
Well, with all due respect, the president has sent a report to the legislature. And the president, like me, supported the TRC report.
Liberia, Let's go! Fucking get it! Let's go! So, you have to get to the city and get the president on our power.
Motherfucker, I'm a jack up. Making money, yeah, where the money make. Yeah, we the NRP block. Make sure every day where the week. I'm a dog, but never let it free. Walk to the bottom of yeah, no evil. Yeah, you see, I'm a nigga dog. I never care what a motherfucker be. Come on. What be up?
Yeah, you know me? You call me Johnny Mado, small boy unit commander. You wear me? Fatumata. You do go again. I told you your father and you.
Only thing I used to do sometimes is just pray whole day. So now I just sit in my mama, I sit in your mom.
Gladys is separated from her brothers and sister. Mango takes her to this cola factory, which was set up as a makeshift rebel base.
Every morning, Mango will just get up. He decided to try his penis in me. He'll be doing all kind of things. One shot and say, if you shout, I will kill you. So I just used to keep quiet, just grieving in my heart that one day I know I will be free from him.
After 4 painful years, Gladys finds an opportunity to escape, but her freedom is short-lived. As the war continues, more fighting factions form, and enslaving women is common.
They just see you walking, they take you, they force you, they say you are worth. If you say no, they kill you. I saw horrible things in this Liberia. They killed in front of me till I was confused.
Fighting me, they suffering me, I'm feeding it, so I will stick them through. They hiding me, they suffering me, I'm feeding it, so I will stick them through. The people me with hello, we were telling that we never left. The people me with hello, we were telling that we never left. The people me with hello, but we're telling them we never left. The people that we hello, we were telling that we never left. Representative, senator, minister, president, I'm better suffering cause today. Oh, Allah be real. My people, you can see, Liberia. Liberians suffering, Liberians. We see it, we don't do it, nothing. Liberians suffering, Liberians. We see it, we don't do it, nothing.
Well, let me say good evening to you, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to another splendid edition of the Justice Hour here. Welcome to another edition of the Justice Hour. Today we are going to just share with you some latest development from France. Yes, some latest development from France. The trial of Kunti Kamara in Paris just started. Kunti Kamara is the former warlord, former battlefront commander for Urumo J. These guys destroyed Liberia. These guys destroy the fabric of our society. All of us that are in the 40, near 50, our future was supposed to be now. Or it is now. It is now. We're living in our future. If you are 40, going to 50. But look at how our future is. And that's why for me, I am still angry. Angry that someone who's supposed to lead the way so that we can have justice for war crimes and crimes against humanity caused by our own Liberians. This person isn't doing it. The political well is being played with. And I continue to ask myself questions every day. Why was Tobot killed, followed by 13 educated men and other people that we never heard about were killed after the overthrowing of Tobot? Why? They said what? Because of corruption. Why was Samuel Canyon Doe killed? And over 250,000 people went along with him, including children or babies that were in the bellies of their mothers. Why? They said it was due to corruption. Let me pick one subject: corruption. Why is it that Charles Taylor was forced to leave Liberia and he's now serving jail sentence? It is because they said that Taylor was also damn corrupt. Ma Ellen came to power with her CPP. With her Unity Party. And so many protests were organized by the CDC, that's the Congress for Democratic Change Party. So many, as an opposition political party, so many protests were organized by the party, stating that indeed Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her government was corrupt. Yes. So you see the trend from one to another. And still up to now, we are finding it difficult to progress. We are finding it very difficult to progress. Why? Is it that 250,000 souls, including babies that were in the bellies of their mothers, why were they killed? Why did they have to kill them? They said they killed all of them because they were bringing change, they were getting rid of corruption. They were getting rid of corruption. The CDC government, plus some of us that were along with them in terms of calling for fair play and accountability, we joined them, and then we were pushing for it. Yes, Ma Ellen, you corrupt. Yes, you're receiving so much money, but you are not passing it on. Yes, you are corrupt. Your government is bad. You're practicing bad governance and everything. We protest upon protest. The CDC government is now in power. Mr. Weir then, in 2004, way back before even the election, made a pronouncement that he would love to see warlords to pay the price for destroying the nation and destroying the children of Liberia. And later he was rewarded by the United Nations and made him goodwill ambassador for UNICEF. Those words were the ones that actually made him the United Nations ambassador or goodwill ambassador. Because people thought that indeed he was a role model. People thought he wasn't faking anything. People thought that he was actually saying the rightful thing, that in fact it was good, that they should have somebody in Liberia who can stand up for the country, who can stand up for the rights of people. And so they listened to him. But look where we are today. Have things changed? No. No. So the issue of killing all of these people and destroying our country, look how Liberia is today, irrespective of anybody referring to some part of Monrovia or some part of Maserati or some part of Liberia as Miami, which sounds so stupid to me. The country is still backward. Reasons now that President Weah is refusing the very, very words that he put together yesterday, refusing to repeat them today, refusing to take actions today, refusing to even meet us and get to handle our petition calling for the establishment of war and economic crimes code, or the full implementation of the TRC reports. So those keep saying that this boy, this man does have the country at heart. You guys are a disgrace to this country. And I can tell you that none of you will go free. Because I remember Desmond Tutu, the late Archbishop of South Africa, Desmond Tutu, once told me, and he even said it face to face, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. So those of you that looking at it, looking at this man leading us in the wrong direction, and you continue to hail him as a hero, you continue to tell us that this man does have his people and country at heart, all of you will pay for it one by one. You will sit down one day and regret it. You will sit down one day and you will shed tears in your little corner. You will sit one day in your dark room and you will say, I regret this. Why I didn't say anything yesterday? Why? Why I didn't say anything yesterday? You will regret it one by one, and you will pay. You will pay for it. We want to appreciate, irrespective of the less political way of governments, from Ma Ellen to Mr. Weah, they sitting there on the rights of the 250,000 souls that were destroyed, the infrastructure that were destroyed, They will pay for it one by one. My Ellen, George, Weah, and the rest of us were behind her. We had protests from one to another. We were calling her to implement the TRC reports. Yes, we did. That's why we were in the streets. The first 6 years we were there. And then the second 6 years came again. We got in the street. And we were calling upon her. The CDC was leading. George Weah was leading, was speaking up and calling for the establishment of war and economic crimes code for Liberia. Today, this man came and he decided to just go into music. He decided to go into music. He decided to just go blind on it. As if I have to say, he is no longer in Liberia. Mr. Weah, you will pay for it. God will punish you for it. This is a total betrayal of people. Because many people also, especially those are living with the wounds. They voted you when you told them that you were going to implement the War and Economic Crimes Code call, and you are going to make sure that warlords are punished. That is why those people voted you. Some of them they never wanted to vote you. No. But when you voiced out far before the election, and you started campaigning, you didn't get that first term, 2005. When you came back again, the number actually increased. When we voted this man, he will establish the War and Economic Crimes Code for Liberia. Not knowing this guy was just buying people, were buying voters' right, pretending big time that he's a true son of the soil. He's a patriot. He lied to the whole nation. And today, everybody, those of us that are calling for the TRC recommendation to be implemented, are calling for the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code, we are just here now crying every day. The man betrayed us big time. But thank God, even though the political will of our so-called leaders, I'm talking about from Ma Ellen to this president now, their political will hasn't been exercised. Thank God for the outsiders. Countries are helping us. They are grabbing them one by one and sentencing them. And one by one, in the Western world, they will continue to pay the price for it. That's why for us at Justice Forum Liberia, we will continue to engage countries, calling on them. The same way we called on the United States of America, we call on most countries in Europe, including the United Kingdom, to do a background check on all Liberians that are residing in their countries, so that they can revisit those applications they made yesterday, the immigration application, asylum application. You go and kill so many people, then you leave, you go into the white man country or so to go seek asylum, to go hide, to go lie that people chasing you, people after you. You go lie on the application. That's why we will continue to engage the international community. We continue to engage governments, writing them. Please do background checks on Liberians that are living in your country. Yes. You will come across something that you will investigate that person. Especially now that it is coming to light. All majority of them who committed these heinous crimes against humanity, are hiding in those countries. And so Liberians will help to bring them to justice, to point them out, so that authorities can arrest them and bring them to book. One by one, they will pay. There is no political will in Liberia, but there is political and human rights will in other countries, civilized nations. We are not civilized. That's why these bunch of hooligans, they are roaming about. You go in the Capitol building, they are elected. You go at the executive level, they are there as advisors to the president. They are in ministries as ministers, and so forth and so on. They have taken the whole country, using government as a place to hide themselves after killing so many people. Imagine a lawmaker, a sitting lawmaker, will be brave to look at his colleague who is telling him that I was small yesterday, but still remember you. You killed my family right before me. George Bolle, Dixon Sibo told him, I still remember you. You killed my family. You killed all of them. And George Bolle, who was a rebel leader, responding to his colleague, telling his colleague, right in the Capitol building there, as lawmakers, I killed your people, but I have no regret. Yes, I have no regret. I am quoting him. This is what this guy said, George Bolle. And somebody is sitting there and they're thinking that this guy is a lawmaker. And somebody is preparing right now that comes next year, October, they will be going to cast their vote to demonstrate their political franchise for this man. Something wrong with us. You look at the whole family, you wipe them out. A 10 years old who is now, for example, about 40 or so, is telling you that you killed my people behind me, right before me, my mother, my father. You slaughtered them and my sisters. And you're responding to them and telling them, I did it, but I have no regret. If I have not killed them, you were not going to be alive. Come on, man. George Bolle, come on. Come on. Oh, people, the time is coming. You need to start making your decision. The reason there is nothing moving in your interest in our country is because of the very mistakes you made in 2005. One, for opening up the country and giving it to a rebel leader. Somebody who openly told you that, yes, even though I wasn't in the bush to fight, but the initial money to start the whole nonsense about MPFL, it was $10,000 I raised. Yes, that's what Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf said. I raised $10,000. That one was to contribute to the process initially. That was big money that time. To put the boys in the bush, take them to Burkina Faso, and train them. Yes, today we are crying for the implementation of the TRC simply because the mistakes that we made, many of you, especially those of you, I didn't vote that time, but those of you who voted then and referred to this woman as an angel who came from heaven and came to save Liberia, and you went and sold your right, your birthright, and voted for her. There where you messed it up. Because how can she prosecute herself? In the TRC, if you look there, she's number one. To be barred, recommended to be barred from political office for becoming president, to be a legislator, to be elected and whatsoever, you know, for 30 years. But our people too were not educated on it. They were not told. When the TRC got done with the job, they took the report, they gave it to her. Madam, we finished you. You can now implement it. The recommendations are in there. But hey man, go to hell, man. How can a woman be indicted and then at the same time judge herself? Make herself to go to the law? Stupid. No. Okay, yesterday, I mean, the people that were responsible, they made a mistake anyway. And they didn't educate you well. Here we are again. Boom, George Weah came. Yes, yesterday I said that all those who actually, you know, brought, who contributed and brought war in this country, they should be prosecuted, they should pay the price. And you turn around, you say, yes, if this man comes to power, he will do exactly so and give for justice. So let us vote him. And you went and voted for him. The first 6 years is about to finish, right? Have you heard from him telling you that indeed all those who committed the heinous crimes are now to be put forward to the states? Have you? When last you heard Josh Weah talking about war and economic crimes court? When last you ever heard him talking about punishing warlords again since he took power? Not there, not a day. When we have protests in Liberia now, like we copy from him and the CDC, he refused to meet us. He refused to take our petitions. Now I want you to think now, is this man in your interest? Or you still want him to go for the second term after lying to you, after fooling you, after betraying your interest? No way. If you do that, the day you go cast that vote for the second term, especially those of you who are seeing the reality today, God will judge you. You will not go free. If I'm telling you that you'll not go free, God will punish you because I don't know all of you. I don't know you. I can't do anything to you. Him on to him on. But God will reward you. And that reward will be punishment for you. You will live in hell here on earth, and you will go to hell again. But let's go to this case in France right now. Like I said, if there's no political will from our leaders in Liberia, thank God, one by one, civilized countries are instituting political will. And it is going on. Let me share with you this latest news from right near me here in France. The arrest of Kunti Kamara, former battlefront commander of Ulimo. Oh, I am so happy. Thank God that another one is in the docket. Another one is in the docket on behalf of all victims of war in Liberia. We are happy. Let me take you to the story. Kunti K. That's how he used to be. That was a war name, or his battlefront name. Kunti K. War crimes trial begins in France. Kamara is the second warlord to be directly prosecuted for his alleged role in any of the Liberia's 2 civil wars. Liberia 2 civil wars. Okay, let me take the story. The trial of Kunti Kamara, a former battlefront commander for the United Liberation Movement of Liberia, began Monday. Monday at the French Court of Appeals for crimes against humanity, torture, and acts of barbarism allegedly committed in Liberia between 1993 and 1994. Known as Kunti K, among other world names, the 48-year-old is being prosecuted under the legal principle of universal jurisdictions, which says that crimes committed against all of humanity know borders and can be tried anywhere in the world. The crimes this guy committed, according to the international engagement rules of engagement, as far as punishing war crimes, punishing those who committed war crimes, any of them can be apprehended in any part of the world, and the people there in their country can use their laws to prosecute them. So this is why when you hear every time they arrest one, America arrest France, that's what's happening. So if we can bring them to book in Liberia, other countries can do it, yeah. And let me say a big thank you to those countries that are helping us one by one. They are behind prisons now. In an early phase of the investigation, Kamara denied all the allegations. Of course, they have to. I will continue to prove, quote, I will continue to prove that these people are criminals in Liberia and that there are people behind them in Liberia. Someone is manipulating them to prosecute me, unquote. He told investigating judges, according to the indictment, quote, everyone will be able to tell you I am innocent, unquote. That is what he's saying. But Kamara admitted to being a commander of 2 sections of Udimo rebels. He also allegedly admitted reporting to a commander called Diku and another called Mohamed Tumuya. He said he joined Udimo because he wanted to defend himself against Charles Taylor's National Patriotic Front forces. The trial will last 4 weeks and we hear from more than 36 witnesses and experts, including many who have been brought here from Liberia by the French prosecution team. You see it? This is what happened during the days of Charles Taylor when he was at the Hague, at ICC. They brought in over 300 witnesses. Actually gave testimony. I went there 2009, 2010 to witness the trial, and I saw, you could see every day, 2, 3, 4, 5 witnesses, or 2, 3, 4, 5 witnesses will give testimonies and things. So in this case too, there are people who are willing to testify, and right now a number of them now they have been flown to France. They will be there until after giving your testimony or so, they put something together and you go back home. They put something together and you go back home. It is expected Kamara will testify on his own behalf. So that means his lawyers are not going to talk for him. Aliu Kosia, Kamara's Yulimo ally, who is appealing his own war crimes conviction by a court in Switzerland last year, will also testify. So Ali Kosia too, last year he was caught in Switzerland. So he too now he's going to testify. Whether he's going to testify against this man or so, but whether he's in his support, but he's one of the witnesses now. Kamara unpinned Kosia's defense case when he appeared as a defense witness and testified that Kosia had committed the crimes for which he was accused. So I don't know, it's going to be another one now, because when Ali Kosia was on trial in Switzerland, Kamara was a witness. So he went to testify and then testified against Ali Kosia and say everything you're saying about this man, that he killed people in Foya, he cut people to pieces and he was selling people bodies, or he was forcing either the wife to cut piece was forcing wife of the best of the man he killed, so that the wife can take piece of the body, cook and eat while he was seated there. He did all of that. So Kamara testified according to this report and said that Ali Kosia actually did all of those allegations against him. So Kamara's testimony now, Ali Kosia's testimony now, this coming week, in the case of Kamara's, it's going to be some kind of way. But I foresee, that's going to be 100%. He's still going to say the same thing, that everything the people say about you, that's true. You killed people, you rape people and things. His testimony, we're talking about Ali Kosia now. His testimony shocked the defense, or that was Kamara. The prosecution and civil parties said it was crucial to the success of their case. Yeah. The case is being brought by France's anti-terrorist unit within the public prosecutor's office. Until now, the unit has only tried cases related to the 1994 Rwandan genocide. France had strong presence in Rwanda in the colonial period. This is the first time in France that a trial has been held for acts committed in a country other than Rwanda. So France have no control over Liberia or so, as compared to Rwanda, okay, because of their colonial, relationship yesterday. So this is the first time that France is going to do this as well, to grab somebody, a Liberian who allegedly committed crimes in Liberia and crimes against humanity, but living in France there, in Paris, and putting them on trial. That's the first time France is going to do this. Among many gruesome allegations against Kamara is the torture and murder of one man who was said to have had his elbows tied together behind his back before Kamara cut open his rib cage, removed his heart, and ate it. But listen to this. This is how barbaric this guy was, accordingly. Among many gruesome allegations against Kamara is the torture and murder of one man who was said to have had his elbows tied together behind his back before Kamara cut open his rib cage, removed his heart, and ate it. Other charges allege Kamara forced victims to transport goods for Yulumo That one by happening in Lofa County, especially Foya. They went and looted the generator, the powerhouse that was there supplying current to Foya. They looted it. Everything they looted. They grabbed our people and put the heavy loads on their heads and told them to walk and go to the Guinean border, Solomba, and cross the house. That's what they did. They used our people as pickups. There are also allegations of rape and sexual slavery by Camara and men under his command. The indictment generally alleges Camara joined in Urimo's reign of terror of people in Foya. So what he did, every bad things that he also did, like Ali Kosia, he committed all the crimes in Foya. He was cutting people. He cut people to pieces. He will grab the wife and the husband together, and he will kill the husband right before they cut it to pieces, put in the wheelbarrow and carry around. Force the wife to cook and eat before he can leave. He did it, but he is now serving his sentence. In Lofa, Urimo survivors celebrate trial. In phone calls, some alleged victims of Camara's crimes told new narratives. Front page Africa that they knew him by his other war name, C.O. Kundi. C.O. Kundi. Many named him as responsible for the 1993 Ngasakonja murders, in which they say 6 men, Sa Gwawe, Zeze Banya, Sa Musa, Augustine Pelot, Tama Africa, a well-known blacksmith in Foya, and Tama Sumno were allegedly murdered by Camara's rebel on his order. Victims' family members said they were pleased to see Camara face trial in France, given successive Liberian governments have refused to hold Liberia's accused war criminals to account in a war and economic crimes code as recommended by the country's Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Since our own governments have refused to punish those people for the things they did to us during the war, let the international community punish them, said Evelyn Pelot, who claimed her youngest brother, Augustine, was among the 6 men killed in the Ngasengoji murders. Kunti case trial comes 2 years after he was arrested by French authorities after he had violated his bail conditions by attempting to flee France to Guinea. Oh, I see. A nationalized Dutch citizen, Camara had attempted traveling with an expired passport. He told French investigators that he had intended to visit Kosia in Switzerland. So they even knew each other. The Paris Court of Appeal had ordered his release in 2019 on grounds that prosecutors had violated his human rights by not issuing a communication permit to his lawyers before the debate on the extension of his pre-trial detention. His initial arrest in France followed a formal complaint to French prosecutors on behalf of his alleged victims by Swiss-based human rights organization, Cavitas Maximus, and its Liberian partner, Global Justice and Research Project. The two organizations have been behind dozens of investigations of alleged Liberian war criminals in the US and Europe. Some of them have led to convictions and sentences, including Kosia and Mohamed Jabate. The trial in France should send a signal to those who murdered Liberians during the two Liberian civil wars, and the long arm of the law will find them. The long arm of the law will find them, irrespective of where they may be hiding or whatever threats they may issue. One Hassan Biliti, director of the GJRP, in a text message. I want them, alleged Liberian war criminals, to know that the rest of the civilized world is standing with us. Liberian police and French investigators from the Central Office for Combating Core International Crimes and Hate Crimes traveled to Foya in Liberia, took photographs and reconstructed alleged crime scenes. They also interviewed alleged witnesses of Camara during those investigations. Camara is the second warlord to be directly prosecuted for his alleged role in any of the Liberia's two civil wars, which officially ended in August 2003. Kosia was the first. The Swiss Federal Criminal Court will hear an appeal to his conviction in January next year. Jabate, also known as Jongo Jaba, is the third ex-UDIMO commander to face prosecution. He was found guilty of criminal immigration fraud by the U.S. Extreme District Court of Pennsylvania in 2017. He's currently serving a 30-year sentence. Camara is standing trial 16 months after he testified on Kosia's behalf in his Kosia's own war crimes trial. Camara did tell the court that Kosia was present on the scene of the hostilities and did commit the crimes he was convicted and sentenced for. His testimony shocked the defense and turned the entire trial on its head. The prosecution and civil party believed it was crucial to their victory against Kosia. Kosia also implicated Camara by telling the court during the first phase of the trial, December 2020, Camara was involved in the capture of Lofa. He said Kunti confirmed this to him. Camara's trial begins as Beth Van Schaak, U.S. Ambassador at Large for Global Criminal Justice, is visiting Liberia to ask the administration of President George Weah for progress on accountability for the Liberian civil wars. Quote, as you also know, there has been no accountability here on the criminal side or the civil side for those who have been most responsible for those abuses. I will be having some meetings with members of the government, and I plan to ask what the status of the draft statute is and what is not being put forward. What are the blockages and how can the blockages be solved? Unquote. Ambassador Van Schaak said at a news conference, her country's ambassador to Liberia, Michael Macaulay. The ambassador's visit comes as the Liberian government has been sued at the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice over its failure to investigate and ensure prosecution for the St. Peter's Lutheran Church massacre killings, also recorded by the TRC. The civil suit was filed by survivors of the carnage a few months after a Philadelphia court awarded them a US $84 million damages judgment against Moses Thomas, the commander of the Special Anti-Terrorist Unit, on the night of the mass killings. The government has yet to respond to this suit. So, thanks to New Narratives and Front Page Africa for covering this. We appreciate you very, very much. You've been behind these stories and making sure that you bring the happenings to us and share with us. I want to say thank you very, 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 very much for joining in. It's not a long podcast today, and so I just thought to share, especially this particular story with you people. At least another one is caught, another one is facing trial, and another one will soon be heading to jail.